Here's what I would like to ask you guys in a little bit of a truth or false pop quiz. And please let me know in the chat. Feel free to just put true or false. You could put T or F. I don't mind either way. But I want to see what you guys think about this. AI is moving so fast that it's too late to get in. Is that a true or false answer? Let me know in the chat. False, false, false. Awesome. Cool. And you guys, I'm not, this here isn't even for me. It's just to see where you guys are at, or for me to give you an answer. That's like saying it's too late to use a computer. I love it. Okay. You fear that starting an AI agency is chasing shiny objects. So for those of you guys who might already have an agency, lead generation business, I know that this is something that some might feel. Okay, great. False. That's what you got. The consensus is, and that you're going to need to completely rebrand this to make this work. It seems like you guys have a good mindset on this. And the reason why I wanted to know this, and I think it's Lonnie Andrews, I think that's how you pronounce that, just mentioned it. It's pretty early. We tend to live in a bubble. I think probably a lot of you guys are familiar with the company Go High Level, probably already have Go High Level. Otherwise, you might be using other tools, but we live in this little bubble where we think everyone knows these things. And the reality is that they don't. I was sitting at a restaurant about, I don't know, a month ago, and I heard two consultants, and they're talking about AI, and it was just so funny because they're like, we don't even really know what AI is yet. And, we don't even know how it's going to work in their business. And I'm thinking, yes, we do. So I actually pulled out my computer. I was like, hey, I have a question. I actually own a company, a software company, and I showed them that. And they're like, oh, wow, this is incredible. But it's just funny how some of us live in this world where we think that, oh, man, everyone knows this and only a select few actually do. Because you guys don't know me, I'm not going to give you a rags to riches story because I don't have one. AI did not make me wealthy. Having a marketing agency in 2017 and selling it in 2020 did, but it had nothing to do with AI. So we're not going to go through any of that. Today is all about AI, how AI training is. But my name is Ross. I'm the founder and CMO of a software company called Consolidator. Not a fancy schmancy dude, as you can see. That's just me and my wife there sipping bourbon up in Door County, Fish Creek area in Wisconsin. I've sold over 900 AI chatbots in just the last 10 months. That's what I'm here to show you guys how to do today. I would say that in our circular community, even if you haven't heard of me, that there's literally no one more qualified to speak on the topic of acquiring AI bot customers than me. And that's because I'm actually selling it to end user businesses, not just marketers. If you can send me proof of someone who has sold more AI systems in the last 10 months, just email me at support. I'd love to buy some consulting from them. All of a sudden, everyone has become an AI expert, but a lot of them are just selling to each other to sell to each other. And what's funny is that I don't chatbots or agents, a little bit of both. So we have text bots and voice bots. So, and then we also have systems, and that's what we're going to be talking about today that combine them, all together. So one thing that I'm really proud of is that I don't have to be posting in Facebook all day and posting in Go High Level group. If you search my name in Go High Level, you'll see some posts, but I don't do it as much as many others. But even still, I accidentally went here a little too fast. In 2024, our company won a developer award as the most popular app inside of Go High Level. And so I don't have to tell you that we're the best out there because the numbers show that we are the most popular out there. You can get a lot of people that are going to say, yeah, but look, we have, more people talking about us. So to me, numbers speak. And so I'm going to be showing you guys how we were able to do this in our platform. So you guys excited for that? That was my story. So hopefully that wasn't too long. Hopefully that wasn't too painful for you guys. I saw someone in here saying he's just here about to sell us a course. So hopefully you guys can see this is already going to be just a little bit different. Now, I do have two goals for you guys. I'm super transparent on what my motives are. Obviously, no one spends a bunch of money on a webinar and getting people on it to know them if they don't have some sort of motive. So let's go through this real quick. I like to get this out of the way. Goal number one is I want you guys to walk away from this training feeling like you know exactly what you should be offering, how you should be offering it to grow an AI agency. I want you to know the best niche to target. what your offer should look like, and how much you should be charging for it. So, like, I don't want you to just know why. I want you to actually know how. Like, I want it to feel clear. I want this training to feel like it was the course on this. So, as we're going through this, please make sure that you ask questions the same way if you were in a class. That's what I want you to do. Now, I'm going to give you all that for free. There's not going to be a dime asked for that. But I do have a second goal, and that is I do want to try to sell some of you guys something for about $1,000. So we can get that out of the way. But you don't need to buy anything to learn goal number one. And here's my understanding on this, is that if I can truly deliver on promise number one, and you don't just feel like I did a bait and switch here, like, wow, he just complete moron. He sent us in loops, created all these open loops, never closed them, and tried to pitch me on something. Can we make a little deal that if you feel like I did not do that, and that you actually have this clear path forward to acquire, fulfill, and retain customers, that you'll just entertain my offer? Let me know in the chat if you'll just at least listen or entertain, because I have something really cool for a select few at the end. Okay, cool. So let's get right into cracking the AI agency code. Awesome. 100%. Love it. I like people who are open-minded in here. I get it. There's a lot of crap out there. I think that the content will speak for itself and that you guys will be super pumped and excited by the end of this. Okay. So we're going to focus on what to sell, who to sell it to, and how to sell it to them. Why is this the main focus for me? Because here's what people are selling right now. If you go into the Go High Level communities, if you start getting hit with Facebook ads, you start seeing these crappy, crazy, I shouldn't call it crappy. I don't know. I would never do a workflow like this. If somebody breaks this, imagine trying to fix this. But this is what the kind of things people are selling are. And it's, you can tell they're just selling to each other. So it's this, ouch, automations are dead. I saw this ad last week, and this is what their ad is. And it's just so complex. And what I think is happening out there right now is you see this misconception that people think that complexity equals value. By the way, any questions that you guys might have, please drop it in the Q&A. I am going to go thoroughly. I will literally sit here till we're blue in the face answering every single question that everybody has at the end of this. But there is this big misconception that complexity equals value. Am I recording this? No, I'm not, because I actually don't do a replay of these. I keep them live. The idea is that if you make something look complicated enough, people will think it looks like it takes too much time, and so then they just buy it from you. That's what people think. But the reality is that simple stuff sells. Quick outcomes, quick value. People want to buy something that's going to change their life today. So, do you guys honestly think that this is the one thing that's going to change your life? Probably not. And even the customers that we're selling to, they don't even know what this is. So when I see this kind of thing, you know what I immediately know? This person's not actually selling to an end user business. They're just selling to other marketers. This isn't going to work. If you try to go to, a loan officer, personal injury attorney, and you say, hey, look at they don't even know what they're looking at. So this is not the right thing that people should be out there trying to sell, but yet they try to. So these guys are just trying to make their money off of you. And so that's okay. If they've got something that can work for you, hey, maybe that's great. Utilize that. But what I see a lot of people doing is they're turning around and trying to resell these things the same way, and it doesn't work. So here's my take. Did you guys see these posts the other day in the Go High Level community? This one here, it's a guy named Darren. I feel bad for these guys. After 4 years of being active in the community, I'm saying goodbye. Handful of clients leaving. My bank account's empty. I'm on antidepressants. I'm finally walking away for good. You see here, I know that you think it's my fault. That's fine. And then look, he's bought all this content, bought all this education. This guy here, after reading this, I can relate. There's a lot of people that are pitching the wrong thing. And I do feel bad for these guys because they're overwhelmed by the complexities that they've been being sold. They try to, and it just doesn't work. And times are changing fast right now. So people are paralyzed by complication. They ask, how do I stand out from all these other SaaS resellers? And you know what they think the answer is? Their answer is CSS, custom menu links, and workflows. That's what they think. Go High Level, for instance, and I don't resell Go High Level, just so you guys know. I'm not a reseller of Go High Level. I have my own custom built software that integrates with Go High Level, but I am not a reseller of Go High Level. But even with that said, I see this and I think, man, it's a complex software on their own. Why do people feel the need to go forever and keep doing stuff? Do we need $497? You don't need $497 to make what I'm teaching you work, by the way. But I'd rather not. I'm not even a Go High Level reseller. You don't even need Go High Level at all to make any of this work. So you guys can pull that one out of your mind. Like, you can use it to make this work. You don't have to use it. It's your choice. This training here is platform agnostic. I don't care what platform you're using for AI tools. This training is going to help every single one of you. So the problem here is that all this complexity leads to crappy messaging, crappy demos, crappy retention. That's what it does. It leads to a lot of issues that now people have all these things they don't even know where to start. Now, here's something that I've learned is that history repeats itself. Jessica, I do want to touch on this. She says, Go High Level is complex and not for beginners. Brandon says, no, it's not. I love this back and forth you guys are having because it's a great debate. However, I will say this. For guys like us, for people like us who actually know how the platform works, it's not complex. You put it in the hands of like a business owner who, to them, Square is complex, and it can be overwhelming. But we'll talk about that later. I'm more focused right now on what people are offering and selling. What people are offering and selling is what I'm mainly interested in. And what I found is that history repeats itself. In 2017, 2018, I don't know if you guys remember this, but agencies were in a very weird spot. And the reason for that is because people went from being excited to make posts and generating leads to demanding a return on ads. Isn't that interesting to think about how they went from just being happy to get leads to now I spent this, I want to see at least a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ROI. So what did we do as marketers? We did what marketers do best. We added automations. And you know what? It worked. It actually solved a big problem. It helped quite a bit. And when we added automations, we started seeing about a 60% response rate from leads. We were able to take away a lot of the automated follow-up, a lot of the things that were going on for them. But there was a side effect that was not very good. And many of us who were successful quickly pivoted away from this. But what a lot of us started to do in the aftermath is we started selling a little differently. Our demos that we started having started to naturally focus on the drill and not the hole. We were so excited with our follow-up systems that we would get a customer on a Zoom and we would show them how when the lead comes in, this is all the stuff that would happen. And because I've been working with agency owners, I used to own a software company called Lead Carrot, which we sold in 2020 as well. And so I've been working with a large data set, working with hundreds and hundreds of agency owners at the same time, thousands over the last 6 years. And what I just started seeing is people that started falling into this had lower conversion rates. And even in my own agency, our conversion rates dropped like a rock when we started doing this. So we quickly pivoted. And here's what I did. And actually, before I show you that, I'll just explain why I did this. And that's because all clients want is the easiest result. That's all clients want is the easiest result. They don't care if it's an automated text or AI as long as they are making money. That's all they care about. And the expectation that your customer has from you has not changed. The difference is how you execute. And this is where I think people are going wrong when it comes to AI. Agency owners need to realize that AI helps them more than it's helping the end user. It's bringing down the cost for the end user for sure. But at the end of the day, your customers still want the same thing now that they wanted before AI exists. And they want the same thing now that they wanted in 2018. They want to be able to get new customers from ads with as little work as possible. Does that make sense? That they don't really care. And I'll reinforce that. So here's what I offered to make people do back in the day. I said, I'm going to make your phone ring with qualified people. I didn't sell them Facebook ads, Google ads. I didn't sell any of the tools. I sold the end result. I would say, hey, for X amount of dollars per call, I'm going to make your phone ring. And you guys are going to see how this ties in with AI in just a moment. I would say there was no lead follow-up, no missed appointments, no bad leads, no software to log into. I would just say, hey, listen, you're going to answer your phone. On the other side of it, there's going to be a qualified person on the phone with you. That was when our agency exploded. When we started doing live transfers, our agency exploded because no one likes follow-up. No one likes appointments because 60% of them show up. But how about the 40% that don't? You get bad leads, and customers always tend to focus on the negatives. That's just the reality. So people today are still selling the drill again. They're going through this cycle. Like I said, history repeats itself. They're feature dumping on people. They're showing their bots. They're showing how easy, how they sound and all these things. You know what? They have so much to offer. They don't even know what to offer to people. And this is causing them to once again have crappy messaging, crappy offers, and crappy retention. Now, you know what we've been offering? I've been offering the same freaking thing I did before. It's just I'm doing it differently. See, before I used to have 37 Filipino cold callers calling people and live transferring them. Once again, I'm just offering to make someone's phone ring with qualified people. That's it. I don't even need to technically say AI in my offer. I'm just using it on the fulfillment side. The messaging is clear and simple. I use a completely automated AI system to do it. And I do use Go High Level for the workflows on it. But I am not tied to it as far as I don't make my customers sign into it. And the entire thing is focused on an outcome and not a software. One thing that I believe in extremely deeply, it's a philosophy that we run through our whole product, is that the best kind of products that retain people are the ones that don't cause them to have to change their end user behavior. So if you're selling a CRM, for instance, customers have to now build the disciplines to log in, move deals around, respond to people, do all these different things. And when you just say, hey, all you have to do is pay me the money and your phone's going to start ringing, it's a totally different scenario. Or just send your leads to us and the phone's going to start ringing, which is what I've been doing. I don't run a lot of ads for people anymore because I just am not interested in being a traffic guy anymore. I like being the conversion guy. But now I'm selling them just an outcome. Here's an example, because sometimes people are still not fully getting it. Let's say that you want to remodel your basement and you have two different quotes. And one guy says, well, I use a DeWalt drill. Everything here is DeWalt. All of my blades are diamond blade, this, and this. And he spends his whole time talking to you about what tools he's going to use to finish off your basement. Versus the guy who says, hey, here, because I see you have kids, I'm going to round your corners so that way if the kids hit into a corner, they don't actually hurt themselves. Here's some of the little things I'm going to do on the... Which one do you think is going to do better? The guy who focuses on the tools he has, or the guy who is focused on what the end result is going to look like? Let me know in the chat. What do you guys think? It's pretty darn obvious. The tool guy or the end result guy? Who do you think has a better closing rate? The end result guy every single time. But yet we don't see that we're doing this ourselves as marketers. We sit there and we make YouTube videos of our bots and talking to an AI bot. And we think that this is going to be what gets us tons and tons of clients. And we show people how easy it is to build a bot. And we show them how our tools work. Nobody gives a crap. They just want customers. Like the people who are paying big money, they are the ones that want customers. You can get, and I'm going to keep in mind, I'm not trying to stereotype people, but we use this term sometimes, bottom feeders. They're the people who, we were all bottom feeders at one point. We're all on the come up, but the reality is when you're a bottom feeder, you don't have a lot of money to spend on things. The bottom feeders will always try to find the cheapest way to do it. They're looking for how to do it themselves. And so because of that, they might appeal to those kinds of things. But when you focus on outcomes, you get higher quality people, especially if you're focusing on the right pain points, which we're going to discuss here in just a few minutes. But How would you guys like to learn how I'm going to help you right now implement this same theory into your offer and into your agency? Well, you've already said in the beginning, so I should probably remove this slide because it's kind of irrelevant. Number one here is we're going to nail the live transfer model with AI. I'm going to explain to you guys how to do it. Now, once again, to me, it's very low-level tasks for us to sit there and walk through workflows. Most of you guys who are already, say, Go High Level people, after I just show you this, will be able to go build it yourselves. However, we have a very cheap snapshot. It's like $197. That is in our community. If you want it, feel free to email us and we'll get you, I'll give you like a 50% off or something if you mention that you were just on the live today. I'm not going to actually go, it's like, I just don't want to go through an entire like how to set it up kind of thing. I'd rather show you what it is and how it works. So nailing the live transfer model. This is literally what you're going to say. And this is your offer. The offer is you send your leads into my system. I will qualify them, put them on the phone with you during your business hours. That is literally the offer to them. Now, the process goes like this. When a lead first comes through, they're going to get a text message during business hours. And it's just going to say, hey, I'm going to just use personal injury, by the way, attorneys as the example, because that's where my agency focused on a lot when we were in our heights. So let's just say, hey, this is attorney so-and-so. I just got your inquiry that you were in a car accident. Do you have a quick minute for a phone call? Now, I'm going to give you the scenario first of if they say yes. If they say yes, now what happens is in Go High Level, you have a positive intent. And so what you do is you send them into a text that says, great, I'm going to call you here in just a second. Please pay deep attention to this part. The text then goes, just so you know, when my system calls you, it's going to ask you just a couple questions and then it'll patch you through to me. Is that okay? Yeah, no problem. Now the AI voice bot calls them. You see, we've gone through this pre-call prep. The reason that's so important is because if they know a human is on the other side of it, they don't even care if it sounds like a bot. They don't even care if there's like a little bit of a latency or this or that, because they're expecting a system to call them. So when you send that little pre-message that says, hey, just so you know, when my system calls you, it's going to ask you a couple questions and then patch you through, your conversion rate's going to go up because now they don't even care if it doesn't sound like human. You see, people are trying to pretend that their bots are humans and they have terrible conversion rates. We're not trying to fool. We don't want to ruin the trust. We don't want to lower our conversion rate. In fact, this is going to be a piece of the puzzle for them that gives them an aha moment. Like, oh, okay. So we're telling them that the system's calling them. Now, you might think, well, why wouldn't you just do a whisper message then on, say, for instance, Go High Level? Well, the reason is because they would get a message that says, hey, you have a new lead, press 1 to connect. And then guess what? 50-60% of the time, no one answers. And so now what you've done is you've just created a new negative response to your customer. I pushed the lead, no one answered. We want our customers to only be having positive experiences of getting on the phones with people. That's why I don't even do appointments for people. Like if it's a chiropractor, I have the live transfer go to their front desk, and now it's their front desk's job to book the appointment. And now if that person no-shows, it's like, well, they know it was a legitimate appointment because their front desk talked to the person and booked it. Does that make sense to everyone? Let me know in the chat if that's making sense as to why I do that. I don't want my customers being able to say, hey, these people are not converting, because then that's on them. I can still charge them regardless. I don't do pay per model. I used to, but I'm still going to count it against my results with them regardless, because I have the documented proof that I put a qualified person on the phone with them. Now, what happens if, by the way, it'll ask them the questions and then it live transfers them. Now, what happens if the bot needs to get a hold of them after hours? After hours, it's going to book an appointment for the bot to call them, not for the customer. So it'll say, oh, okay, hey, do you have time to talk tomorrow? Yeah, how about 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock works. So the bot books the appointment at 3 o'clock. And then shortly before 3 o'clock, they get a text, hey, we're in call in just a moment. Just so you know, when my system calls you, it's going to ask you a couple questions before it patches you through to me. So the appointment is not for the customer to call them back. It's for the bot to call them back, qualify them, and then live transfer them. The problem with, once again, booking an appointment for the customer to call back is what? That the person might no-show. And if they do no-show, I would rather deal with the numbers and let the customer not know people didn't show. I guarantee you that if I send a customer 15 qualified good calls that they connected with every month versus sending them, say, 25 calls, but only 15 of them actually answered, I'll have a better retention rate because they're going to focus on the 10 that didn't show. Are you paying for the lead traffic, or is it? Ooh, that's a great question. Please throw it in the Q&A and I'll answer that for you right at the end of this, because these are good questions, but you'll learn a lot of this as we go through this. Now, same thing happens if it's during business hours, but they can't talk right now. They say, okay, great. I do need to have a conversation with you. And by the way, this is our AI text bot then talking. When can we book a call? And the AI text bot books the call for, once again, the voice bot to call them in live transfer. Now, I just want to bring up a side point here. People are using AI voice bots for things they shouldn't be. The only time that an AI voice bot makes sense is, one, if you're performing a live transfer, or two, you have an inbound call solution. There are times where outbound, like appointment setting, works, but what I mean by that is they'll try to move an appointment. Like, let's say you're booking appointments for people. There's no reason, if you're going on a Facebook lead and a Facebook lead comes in and you're booking an appointment, there is zero reason to book them via a voice call. You will have a higher conversion and it'll cost a lot less to do it through an AI text bot. But if you're doing a live transfer, now you can use the voice bot because now it makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense for everyone. So this is the system in a nutshell that we are offering to people. Now, we don't walk them through any workflows because that would be very hypocritical. But we just say, listen, as you're generating your leads, like you're an attorney, I see you got 10 leads here that are coming through. As they're coming in, we're going to follow up with them up to 10 times. Then we're going to go through and do a live transfer. So let me show you this, how we turn this into a good offer, a good outcome-based offer. Now, you guys have seen this. Russell Brunson, Jason Fladlin, Alex Hormozi, they always talk about how your core offer, you need to have this new opportunity. That's true. But I have my own take on this. So they teach that you come up with what the objections people have are, and then they say create a bonus that shatters it. I say create a filter that shatters it. Let me explain what I mean by this. So, like with personal injuries, their biggest objection is unqualified leads. Like, they don't want to get on the phone with unqualified leads. So notice here what I say. Listen, we will contact every single lead up to 10 times, and then we're going to transfer them over for you. Here's objection number one is they don't want people who are at fault. So I'm going to say all of these will be people who were not at fault, people who are within the statute of limitations, people who went to the hospital, they have a police report, and guess what? My AI agent's never going to take a holiday smoke break. We don't churn. And the reason why I bring this up is because now they're like, oh, wow, they really know my niche. See, I believe that a good offer can be the hook. Like, literally, think about this webinar. The offer, by the way, at the end is the same thing as what the hook was. Think about with a personal injury live transfer. I can literally say, listen, if I put you on the phone with someone who was not at fault, they're within the statute of limitations, they went to the hospital and they have a police report and they want a personal injury attorney and you can't close them, that is not on me. Because I have literally just shattered every single objection of yours. And now what happens is as they generate leads, they can just send them into our system. We can zap them in. Our system follows up on them. Boom. Now, if you also run traffic, you can add that. There's no reason why you can't. You can then just use this to filter people out instead of having to have a call center. Once again, we're just changing the tools and making our tools more efficient, but we're not making this the focus of our offer. Because our customers don't give a crap about the drill, they want the hole. So here's the problem with call centers. People hate working in them. And this is something that I recommend that you do if, this is the only time where you say, hey, here's why our system is an advantage. The people who are working in them. So you're spending all this money on leads. You're sending them into a call center, which does not gain trust at all. And the people who are on there, if they're having a bad day, your conversion rate drops. If they're a newbie, because you have no control who's answering that phone, if they're a newbie, your conversion rate drops. And there's too many variables when you add a human in. But you know who loves talking on the phone? Our AI bots. It's just numbers to them. It's just what the system does. There's no variables. And because we're pre-framing it with that, hey, just so you know, when our system calls you, it's going to ask you a few questions. It's just wonderful. I mean, you couldn't say, hey, just so you know, when our Indian call center or our Filipino center calls you, they're good. It just doesn't have the same ring. So what we've done is we've taken away the things that are not really valuable, and now that's going to help us to be more efficient in our systems. Here's an interesting statistic for you, because I've done both, and we've tracked a lot of our data. When a lead comes in, no matter what, we always sent them a text message first, and we have like a 55 to 65% response rate on these. But when we sent them to a human, it would be like a 25 to 55% live transfer rate out of the people that would got on. With the AI voice, we see a 45 to 55% transfer rate. So even though there's a little bit of a variable based off the campaign we're running, which the things that can change that would be like your source of traffic, etc. Even though you have a little bit of a variable, which you're never going to fully get away, it's a much smaller variable. So it's just more predictable. I always give the example, because we're marketers, we love to split test things. If you had a funnel where one had the same copy, the same text on it, and you're running traffic to it, but then on the other funnel, every time someone clicks on it, AI changes what the text said, you would never actually be able to know which one's converting better, because since the other one is changing every single time, it's not a true A/B test. You could never actually dial in a system. But with AI, with everything being machine, you can. That human would be like that variable landing page. You can't really split test it because they're a variable every single time. I can do a presentation one day, do great. Second day, not so good. Maybe because I just wasn't in the right mind frame, or I had something happen, etc. That's the downside to being human. And so when you think about what a human is actually doing in a call center, what is the value of them? It's that they pick up the phone and they dial, and they filter out garbage leads. That's it. Anybody who has a company that's actually scaling, they do not want overseas callers trying to close the deal, because they're spending too much money on the leads and getting qualified people, that they want to convert every single person that they possibly can. And so because of that, you just want them to get them on the phone with a qualified, skilled person. And guess what? Both of these can be handled by AI agents way more efficiently. The sad thing is that there's going to be a lot of people in call centers out of a job over the next 5 years. But the reality is this is just where the puck is heading. What did Gretzky say? You go where the puck is heading, not where the puck is at. So my proposition to you guys is don't be afraid to mention AI, because obviously there's buzzwords. That's probably why I got $2 to $3 webinar registrations. It's just because the word AI is in it. But when it comes to like your pitch and your offer, simplify it. Make it about the end result, getting on the phone with the customer. Don't focus on the workflows and the complexities. So does this make sense for everyone before we move on? I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page with me here. Okay, awesome. Very cool. Our last thought on this offer here is that people hate no-shows. People hate leads that don't answer. People hate changing their behavior. Keep this in mind when you guys are building your offer, because if you're selling them work, then I'll give you I think I actually have a section on it, but this removes all the pain. And this is what's actually selling. I have a brick and mortar store as well. When we first started generating leads, I was so excited. I was following up on all of them. And then I just was like, I got lead fatigue. I couldn't do it anymore. hooked, put the AI bots on it. Way, way better. People get excited. That's why agency owners even churn. People get excited at first when they see the leads coming in, and then they quickly realize, holy crap, this is a lot of work. So with your offers, just make sure that you're not just selling them more work. So step number 2, who do we target with this offer? You've heard people say that the riches are in the niches. However, I want to put a little bit of a different take on this. People always think that a niche means industry. But I believe that a niche can also be a pain point that you solve. You don't have to niche down to an industry. You can niche down to a pain point that you are solving. And what we found is that when you do, a lot of good stuff happens. So by targeting a pain point and not just an industry, your cost per lead drops, your cost per appointment drops, your cost per sale drops, and now you have more agility to pivot. Here's a problem that I've seen in our industry of marketers. One problem that I've seen is that they'll go out and they will spend all this time customizing, for instance, their Go High Level to a specific industry. And they go nuts building every sort of custom menu link and this and that and stuff to make it look good for that. And then you know what happens? They try to get into that industry and they can't sell it. And now they feel stuck because they've spent way too much money on one specific vertical. And so my feeling is let's focus on, like, go look at Pipedrive, HubSpot, even Go High Level, any of these. And you will notice that all of them at some point they cap out. Now, here's why I think that people think that you need to be in an industry, because in some areas you can be a much bigger fish in a small pond. The problem is that the industry and the market has changed, and it is so saturated no matter where you go that it is very, very difficult to find a highly profitable vertical where you're going to be able to be top dog. It is very difficult to, especially because the tools that we're selling are a commodity. That's why we're trying to sell an offer, not the tools. And so when you think about, for instance, attorneys, real estate agents, real estate investors, let's continue on with any vertical, chiropractors, med spas, there are so many agencies and Go High Level resellers going after them that, I think that where people kind of get this mixed up is they say, yeah, but my messaging is going to be so much more pinpointed if I go after them. Maybe that's somewhat true, but there's no reason why you can't set up a single landing page and an ad with that same messaging. That's why there's so many companies that do that. And you click on, like, for instance, contractor CRM, you click on it and then you see, and you're like, wait, this looks like Pipedrive. And then you click on the logo and it takes you to Pipedrive's homepage. That's what a lot of companies end up doing. But I have found that if I focus on lead follow-up, the live transfer, qualifying the lead, oh my God, here's what ends up happening. My cost per lead, I used to pay over $100 per appointment when I was trying to niche down. Right now, our demos are between $35 and $75, usually closer to $45, $50. Like, everything just got so much less. And you know what? You might say, yeah, but now your work is not streamlined. It actually is. It's the same freaking workflow. The only thing that changes is the follow-up text message, the qualification questions, and the phone number you're live transferring to. Like, there's hardly anything that changes in this. And so I don't think you guys need to sit there and worry about it. I think what you do is run ads to a pain point, let the people come to you. And then if you find that you do really, really well in a specific vertical, you can create a landing page from there. But now you're not stuck in a corner trying to figure out what you want to do. What you're doing is now you're removing things that would paralyze you from taking action and just going out there and selling. I appreciate it. I just was looking at the chat here. It looks like you guys are on the same page as this. I know that this isn't for everyone as far as this strategy, and it goes against what a lot of people say, but I'm not a popular person. I'm not a popular guru. I don't even consider myself that. Like I actually was shunned out of most inner circles because I didn't believe half the crap that was being shelled out in them. And so I never had people that I could JV with. And so the money that I've made had to be 100% from ads in my own marketing. And that means that you just have to get that much more dialed in with what your messaging is. Dwayne says he's in Russell's inner circle. That's very cool. I've been banished from from the ClickFunnels group, as so many others have. But my point here is just that I've had to really dial in the messaging, and I found that when I go after one specific industry, all of my costs go up, and it doesn't really help me at all. I go after pain. So let's talk about these pain points, and I'm actually going to give you guys like some messaging here in just a second. So here's the pain points. People who are short staffed. Why do I say short staffed? Because if we're going to have people that are have business hours, they have to have some staff. There are certain filters that they're not deal killers, but they're just not ideal. So if they're short staffed, we can add scalability because now they're not following up on people that aren't answering. We're actually utilizing the staff that they have their time better. Because I was also in the equipment space, and one of the things that we would find is we would send leads to the front desk or the front counter, and hours would go by before they would get followed up on. So this solves that problem. They have a front desk, and if the phone rings, they answer it. But to get them to be proactive and follow up on leads just wasn't happening. Also, there's follow-up fatigue. And this is what I was actually talking about earlier. And you could just imagine yourself in an ad. And by the way, the best ads are Loom-style video ads with a slide up that just has one word, just like I had when you get, for the most of you guys that registered for those trainings. Those convert really well. Otherwise, we have some really cool VSL style videos. But anyways, just imagine in a video saying something like this. And I'm just going to, if you guys don't mind, I'll do a little bit of a role play. But just imagine that you can say something such as, have you ever signed up to have a company generate leads for you? Maybe you're doing that now. Maybe you're generating your own leads. And for the first couple days, maybe even for the first week, you were excited. These leads were coming through and you were getting all this traction that you just didn't have before. But then really, really quickly, you realize I don't even know how I'm going to keep up with this. I know I need these leads. I know I need it to grow, but I can't get anything else done because I'm just following up on leads all day. So then your conversion rates start dropping. I have a solution that doesn't require you to hire anyone. All you have to do is send those leads into our system, and we'll get them on the phone with your staff at the right time. And if you'd be interested in getting this, click the link down below. And you know what? If you end up signing up, I'll give you the first 7 days at my own cost or something with a little bit of a hook, which we explain how to do that properly where you're not losing any money and you're still charging an upfront fee. But anyways, the point is that's roughly the pitch that you would have for follow-up fatigue. But see, you can do the same thing with being short-staffed, etc. Now, who is going to be interested in that kind of a pain point? People who already have a little bit of traction and enough to be able to pay you. Now, if you know who is horrible is big corporations. Trying to go after big Fortune 500 companies, you end up on 60 meetings before they ever make a deal, and then you're like, God, I can't charge that. Now they have a budget, and they're like, oh, you have to keep it under this, and it's just a pain in the butt. Go for that small to medium sized company. Don't go for the big guys because they're much harder. I always tell people I like to go do business with someone that can swipe a card while they're pooping. So it could be 1 o'clock in the morning and they're like, I'm just going to do this. You sent them the invoice. They've been thinking about it for the day. And then it's 2 in the morning and they're on the toilet and they're like, I need this. Boom. And they can just do it without anyone else's permission. Those are the best industries. So also speed to lead issues. But this is that one there. It's great if they're experiencing it in their own business. It's a little less potent than it used to be because now there are things like follow-up SMS, and so they might not get the idea. So I'm a much bigger fan of the pain point of actually connecting them on the call. So that way they don't have to change their behaviors. And you could also say one of the number one reasons why lead gen campaigns fail is because your staff is just overworked. It doesn't mean they're lazy. They're just busy as is. And so you start sending them a lot of information and they're going to get to it when they get to it. Our system just puts them on the phone right away. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but just a filter for you is that ideally you guys want to go after someone who can answer the phone during business hours. Now, I wouldn't put that in the ad because most people are going to. And I'm not going to turn away a customer because they don't, but I'm going to be very, very clear with them that, like, hey, if it's 4 PM and I live transfer someone to you, we do the missed call text back. So, like, let's say they don't answer, that person gets a text saying, "Hey, sorry, I just saw you try to get patched through. I'll call you right back. I just got tied up for a second." So we can handle that. But now it's on you. Now you do have to follow up with them and call them back. We'll notify you and let you know you just missed a call from us. But that's, just so that way we're all on the same page. And we're going to give them a little dashboard that shows them, all the leads that they sent in, how many we've contacted in the transfer and all that. But, I just like to be able to keep showing them the results. So one little workaround for that, as I mentioned, is the notification missed call text back. So if they don't have that, obviously if you're doing the pay per lead, then you can get paid regardless on this. But, you think of like Google local service ads, the Google guaranteed, and those guys charge regardless of if the person answers the phone. They're charging for someone to make the phone call. So you're going to kind of do the same exact thing. So I want to show you guys real quick an ad video kind of thing, just so you kind of get a little bit more of a point as to where I'm going with this. So I'm going to share my sound. Let me play this video for you guys so you can see like an example. Like, okay, well, how would I put something like this together?
While texting a lead is the quickest way to get a reply, getting them on the phone is hands down the best way to convert them. In the past, you had to hire virtual assistants to follow up on leads and direct transfer only the qualified ones to your salespeople. But now, with Done-For-You Live Transfers, you can easily build no-code AI voice agents for sales and support that actually achieve a better conversion rate and cost significantly less. Here's how it works. Once your customer agrees to receive a phone call, they'll get a message that says, "Great. Just so you know, when my system calls you, it will ask you a few questions before patching you through to me." Then, they'll receive a phone call from our AI voice agents. Let's listen in on an example phone call for a personal injury attorney.
I just received your accident inquiry and wanted to see if you have a moment to talk.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I just want to let you know that I'll be asking you a few questions to get a better understanding of your situation, and then I'll transfer the call to one of our attorneys who can provide you with more specific guidance. Is it okay for me to ask a few questions now?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Can you tell me a little bit about what happened in the accident? What's your recollection of the events leading up to it and what occurred during the accident itself?
Yeah, I was basically driving down the highway. Someone ran a red light, smashed into my car.
Sorry to hear that.
Prospect has been qualified.
Someone said that the volume was low, so I'll skip through that part so you guys don't have to listen to
Prospect has
that.
been qualified. We can either direct transfer them directly to your phone or schedule an appointment on your calendar. Schedule your demo today to see how easy it is to deploy AI agents for your business.
So part of the magic as to what we do and what we found actually gets us a lower cost per demo is that when we're running our ad like this, what we're actually doing is running it as a, let me restart this here, is they don't really know if it's a done-for-you service or if it's a software. They can't tell. The copy and the text inside the ad all focus on the end result and the outcome. They see a few screenshots of a software that's going through there. And so it allows us to get on, but just so you know, when we get on, we pitch them on a done-for-you system. And if it is out of their budget, then we might try to downsell them into like a mini course, how they can build it themselves using our software. But for the most part, every single person that we sign up, they're pitched on a done-for-you service where we set it up, we build it for them, and then they pay a subscription plus usage to be able to continue to use that. So that was just an example of how you would go through it. But I've literally sold bots to insurance agents, pet breeders, attorneys, small used car dealers, equipment rental dealers, etc. The niche doesn't need to be, once again, your industry. It can literally be dialed in to into a pain point. So you create a transfer for each attorney. I think I don't quite fully understand, but I create a bot for each attorney. Yes. So, just to give you an example, when I run ads with this kind of messaging and pain point, I set one up a week ago. for a guy, and in literally a day and a half, he had 2 appointments. One of them already agreed to start after the first. I think that he was probably only spent like $75 to $100 for in total to get that, which was great. That was out of the gate. This here shows you another example when you run to pain and not to an industry. This was one that we just ran for another agency, 51 demos at $59.48. Client ad spend is going to vary because I don't run most of my clients' ads. These are actually agencies that we were helping them generate demos to actually help to sell AI bots. These are not the end user demos here. For our end users, there's very few people that I'll actually take on running their ads for them because I prefer, unless it's a niche that I want to get involved in, I prefer to focus on just the conversion aspect. One thing I found about traffic guys is traffic guys get pissed on, conversion guys get saluted. So like if you were, for instance, generating leads and I'm getting them on the phone, I have found that the person equates the results to me more than they do to the traffic guy. So traffic guys kind of get churned, beat up, hey, these leads are no good. That's what people say. The guy who's actually making them convert gets put up on a pedestal. That's just what we found. So that's why I don't like to run a lot of ads for people anymore. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit because there's something at the end of our offer that does touch on that. So step number 3, I want to talk about how to actually conduct the perfect demo. Before I do, I just want to do a quick recap. We've talked about the live transfer method being a really good way to create high value for someone that's focusing on the end result. 2 is niching down to pain points, not to an industry. And number 3 is that I'm going to go through the perfect demo here to actually close them. So what do you guys think that I do? Based off my style here, just in talking to you guys in our presentation today, do you guys think I use a pitch deck, a whiteboard, or a feature demo? And by the way, any questions you guys have, throw them in the Q&A so I don't miss them. Okay, so someone actually said none. That would be the answer for me. A feature demo would be kind of doing what I've been talking against here. A pitch deck is great for a one-to-many sale, like even like a presentation like this. But a pitch deck for a one-to-one sale would be ridiculous because it doesn't allow you the flexibility. Whiteboards are okay, but what I found is that just having a normal conversation with someone is the best hands-down way to get these things to close and gain trust. In fact, I used to have an agency program where I would I'd get on the calls with people and I'd have a student who's like, hey, I've got all these demos I've been hopping on. I can't seem to close them. I'd get on and listen. And it was like they were making someone sit through like a painful slide point presentation. I'm like, what in the world, dude? Like this is one person. I would feel so weird being on there and going through a slideshow with one person. So I actually stopped it halfway. I couldn't handle it anymore. And I just started asking the guy questions, talking to him, and we ended up closing the guy. And the guy says, dude, that literally felt like we were just like having a beer with the guy and having a conversation. I was like, that's what it should feel like. So I'm going to tell you how to do this because like my wife, she doesn't know she freezes up when someone tries to have a conversation with her. I don't know why, but she freezes up a little bit. So some people are like this where they don't know how to keep the conversation, the ball going. One downside to me is I don't know how to shut up. I just keep talking. I can keep going. And so here's the framework that I use to get people into the right mindset to close because they might think like, wow, this guy is just having this little normal conversation with people. Everything I'm saying is intentional. I'm doing it to pull them out. So here's the conversation. The first thing we do, we got to trigger the amygdala. So I don't know if you guys know how the amygdala works, but the amygdala is a part in your brain that doesn't really think, it just reacts and it releases adrenaline. So that's why, people talk about like things such as pain and excitement, curiosity, all these different things, they trigger the amygdala. Now the amygdala is very responsible for your fight or flight. Exactly. So it's responsible for your ads and all that. But the problem is that you triggered someone's amygdala in the ads and you get them to book the appointment. But by the time they're back on that demo with you, you got to find a way to re-trigger it because they're not in the same mindset as they were yesterday. You got to get them back into that mindset. So what I do is I remind them of the pain, but not by telling them. I dig it out of them. I make them tell me. So here's just a simple script on how you could do that. You say, hey, it's nice to meet you. I'm Ross. Before we get started today, I was just hoping you could tell me what problem you were hoping we can solve for you today. So there's, even though it seems like such a simple sentence, there's a few things in here I want to cover. One is that by me getting them to acknowledge that they have a problem that they're hoping that we can solve for them today, they're like, now they're digging up the pain right out of the gate. They're like, oh, well, I've got 4 or 5 lead providers. I don't know even which leads are converting well, but our team just can't handle, then they go into it. So now I'm getting them to remind themselves. Sometimes people don't even remember what they filled out. They're on the appointment. The ad was so good that they don't even remember what they filled out. Can you remind me what this was? Oh, yeah, we're a follow-up system. So I assume you had some sort of issue with follow-up. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Oh, yeah, and then they get into it. But here's a few things that I want to throw out. If you can train yourself to say before we get started, people don't put up their defensive walls yet. They stay vulnerable because they're like, oh, okay, he hasn't started selling to me yet. So like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Russ. Before we get started, okay, we haven't started yet today. Tell me about your pain. So I'm trying to keep them vulnerable because otherwise people, their egos come into play. Like, well, we kind of got this. I just wanted to see what you had. I'm already kind of doing this. You know what I mean? They start getting a little bit goofy. But if you can get them into that spot where they don't feel like they're trying to put up their defensive walls, that's one little way. It doesn't always work, but it does help. Next thing I noticed is I didn't say what problem you were hoping I can solve for you today. I said we. And the reason for that is because people have egos. And if we can take their ego out of the sale, because now they're sizing me up. I don't want them to size me up. I want them to size my company up. You'd be surprised how many people are like, you know what, I was actually building something like this, but since you've already got it, I'm going to go ahead and use yours. And that's their way of saying, trying to like say, yeah, I want to acknowledge your solution without hurting my ego. That's like when they say that, that's what I'm hearing them say. But by pulling it to where it's like, now it's not just you. Does this make sense to you guys why you would want to do that? Like, that's even why it's important to have like your website, make your brand look a little bit bigger than what you even are in the beginning, is because you want them to feel like this is their focus. Like 100% their life, they wake up and think about solving this very problem. And so if they're putting all their effort into this problem, I can take my ego out of play and follow it. So that's why I use this in my initial sentence here. So next, while they're speaking, I have to find a way to diagnose the issue with my solution. Now, if I don't think my solution's the right one, I'm not going to try to sell it to them. I'm not the kind of person that feels like if I end the call, I need to know either it was a good fit for them or it wasn't a good fit for them. If it was a good fit for them and I couldn't sell it to them, I take issue with that, and that drives me nuts. But if it was a bad fit for them and I didn't sell it to them, then that's great. I don't care. I can walk away from that call feeling really good. But I'll give you this funny example. There's a chiropractor out of Germantown area, Wisconsin, a friend of mine, and he can go through, he'll take your x-rays, he does everything. But what we started realizing, because like 3 or 4 of us signed up, is that every single one of us had the same routine. We got there, he had us do this traction thing, he had us do this, he had us do that, and then he popped the same exact way and then put us, and we were like, isn't that so funny? He made us feel as if this was and he is crushing it, but he made us all feel like, okay, this is for you. But yet it was the same solution for every single one of us. So what you're going to find is that the people who have come in through the ads because of the messaging and the pain we are targeting, you're going to find almost every single one of them have the same problem. It's very rare someone has an issue that, the system isn't going to fit for if they came in through the right messaging. So in order for you to be able to sell something to them, you have to have a clear picture in your own brain, making sure that you fully understand how this would look going forward. People will not buy from you if you don't know why they should buy it either. So you can't, if you listen to their solution and then you just go into your pitch anyways, it's not going to work. You got to be able to meddle it in and create that picture. If you're an attorney, if you're a chiropractor, if you're a med spa, if you're a real estate agent, you have to be able to even use their lingo. And maybe that's why some people say you should niche down. But if you can learn to be dynamic enough, then I could say, listen, I know that you know as well as I do, a lot of buyer leads suck. If I'm talking to real estate agents, you might get 100 buyer leads and only 3 of them are actually interested. So we can filter that out. Oh, he's speaking my language. Now, some of that comes with, if you've been in the agency world for a long, long time, you just learn some of these things because you've done things in different verticals and niches. But if you're an empathetic person, and if you're not, if you can try to develop empathy, putting yourself in your shoes, it's going to be very helpful. I'm always on the other side trying to think, to this person on the other side, how does it sound? What do I need to hear? What objections am I feeling? How do I overcome that? And that's what we're going to talk about here right now. So this hopefully is an aha moment for you guys. It changed everything for me in selling. You see, people are on a journey. They are on a path. They're trying to solve a problem. And with that, there's some things that they've already developed. They've already developed objections. They've already developed confusion and product awareness. So maybe they know they need follow-up systems, but maybe they're looking at call centers, these qualifying call centers. They're confused because they just don't know, do I really want to send my leads to a call center in a country where they hardly know the language? I'm spending all this money on, these leads. Maybe they're aware of a few different options. And so now your job is to become an educator. You go into this education mode. This is automatically going to give you authority. You see, I'm not a fan of screenshots of like income. This is a long webinar. I know, I'm sorry. This is not just a normal webinar, Brandon. I'm actually trying to teach you guys something here rather than just spit out a normal spiel. And so what you have to do when you get them in education mode is you have to say, listen, this is the path that you were on. I have to put up a block here because I got to reroute them. See, I got to get them away from what they were thinking. If you ever look up there, I'm going to give you 2 books. The Challenger Sale is one. And I don't know if Brandon was, I don't think Brandon was being rude. He was probably just making it, which it is a long webinar. Last week we went 2.5 hours. It is what it is. It's just a statement. It is what it is. So anyways, reroute. You have to reroute them to the end result. They're trying to get to that end result. You have to say, listen, if you've been on this path for this long and you have all these objections, I got to tell you, I've gone down the path. I know what you're trying to do and it doesn't work. You have to put up an objection. It does not work. Here's what's going to happen. And then you give them the things that are going to happen. Now, for those of you guys who have been following, for instance, guys like Brunson, I'm going to try to equate it to something he'll do. I don't like this method, but what he'll do is he'll say, it's not your fault if you've done this, 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 and this. You know what I mean? So the idea is that you're trying to say, listen, the path you're on doesn't work. The 2 books, The Challenger Sale and Pitch Anything. But the Challenger Sale teaches this idea that you have to try to teach them and educate them and say, listen, the way that you're going to solve this problem doesn't work. Let's step to the side. I'm going to show you what does work. And now that you've stepped to the side, they no longer have those objections, confusion, or product awareness because they've put 0 thought into what you're about each time. And now you get to control the way that they learn this. So we're rerouting them. So I'm going to give you an example. Listen, I know that you're thinking of doing a call center. You're talking about going overseas here. Here's the thing. I actually ran a call center for 4 years. And in that time, what I learned is that every time a lead gets sent into them, the variable of that human, that person could be having a bad day. He could be new. We had no control over who was going to answer that call. That variable would change the results of the lead. So you might get one day a good guy. You might get the next call somebody who's terrible. There was 0 consistency. So now we've planted the seed of doubt in their mind. Here's the better way to do it. And then you show them the system we just talked about. And now they're like, oh, this makes sense. He's been down that path. I used to put up on the screen. Have you guys ever seen the movie Count of Monte Cristo? I used to put up a picture on the screen of that old guy who digs his way out of his jail cell and ends up in the other jail cell. He was going the wrong way. And I would say, this reminds me of where you're heading, because you're trying to do all this work to get out of this terrible situation, and you're just digging your way right into another terrible situation. And now that you plant the seed of doubt in their mind, even if they walk away and they don't buy from you, when they start experiencing the pain and they say that guy was right, they come back to you. I can't tell you how many times people came back because I planted the seed of doubt in their mind. I got the worm in there. They started to experience it and they said that guy was right, and they came back and they buy from you. So that is my part of my demo framework. I help them see the path that they were on. I put up the block. I reroute them the right way. Bada bing, bada boom. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, cool. I want to make sure, because remember, I made a promise. Goal number 1, I can't even give you guys an offer unless at the end of this thing, you guys know that I target pain points, that I am doing a live transfer AI model, and how I'm actually pitching this. So the end result, this is like a little pitch, I'd say. So the end result you're looking for is exactly what we solve, except we do it in a different way. See, what we found is that most people are trying to either hire a call center or using AI, but they're not positioning it properly to their prospects. So you kind of do this, and this is going to kill, and that kills conversion. So you do this for them, you help them to see that end result, bada bing, bada boom. Then I say, here's what we do. Actually, yeah, because you know what I realized, Tom? Someone asked if I was recording. I didn't realize Zoom, I had it set up to auto record, because when they said, is it recording? I had not pressed record. So I was like, no, but I didn't really care. But since I see it is recorded, yeah, I can email it to you guys after. Appreciate you being on here, by the way, Tom. So conversation framework here, then I'll say is, here's what we do. I take them through the spiel. That's my reroute that takes them to the end result. We already talked about this at the beginning with our initial offering. Bada bing, bada boom. We've given them a solution, and now it's time to make them an offer. Now, what I will do is I'll quickly show them, I can say, here's how we do it. And I can quickly just show them like some of the voices, but I don't spend a lot of time here. The reason I even do this is because what I don't want is I don't want them to think that I'm selling in theory. If any of you guys have ever sold lead generation, the thing that always sucked about it is you're always telling people, here's what I can do for you and here's what's going to happen, but you're like selling this theory of how lead gen works to them. If you can tie in a little bit of the software element, then what you can actually do is you can actually start pulling in and showing them like, here's how it sounds, here's how it works. You can just show them real quick, and they're like, oh, okay. So he's not just like bullcrapping me. He actually does this. Yes, this does outbound here as well. He actually does this. Okay. And now we've just shattered a lot of objections. So here's how just some baseline pricing. I always start with done for you only. I don't even pitch them on the monthly on a demo. But what I'll do is I'll sell them basically for at minimum a $1,500 one-time fee, $97 a month plus usage. Now you'll notice it says 10 to 45 cents per minute. That depends on if they're using like the latest real-time models. And actually over the last week, those real-time models got even cheaper, or if they're using like your speech to text, text to speech, etc. Now, a lot of people don't know how that works, but when you're talking on a voice call, it is translating your words into text real time, sending that to the language model, and then as it's coming up with a reply, the voice is reading it. So there's a lot of variables. That's why there's delays, inconsistencies. If like companies like DeepGram are busy and overloaded, you might experience more delay. But with the real-time voice models, you don't have any of that. With the real-time models, your offer text and done for you model is redundant. It probably is a mistake. I am not a perfectionist when it comes to building slides. I'm pretty actually terrible at building slides and running ads. I think for the first 4 weeks of my running my ad, it said it was in November. So I'm not always the most detailed person. Like action over perfection. I end up getting results. We've sold our AI bots up to $7,000. I've had some for $5,000. The thing is that like your average business, I'm trying to get people on usage. So your average business is going to use it for about 2 hours a day if they've got good amount of leads. So that means that you're going to be looking at roughly 2,400 minutes a month during, that's 5 days a week. And so I'm trying to get it to where it's not so terrible on the front end. If it's like an attorney, go for the 3,500, 5,000, 7,000. If it's like a landscaper, he might be better off at the 1,500 and then get him on the usage. But we're trying to cover our ad costs, make some money on the front end, and then build up our monthly reoccurring revenue in our our usage. Make sure that you guys put all of your questions in the Q&A, because I'm going to continue on here just so that way we can get into some good stuff here. So what we'll do then is we'll start using language that future paces them. Remember, I said they have to clearly know what it's going to look like to work with you. So then you say to them, so when you sign up, we're going to invite you to our project manager. And when you get inside the project manager, the team's going to get on a quick onboarding call. They're just going to help you set up a couple accounts, set up your socials, get connected. You don't have to know any tech stuff. We're going to do all of that for you right there on that Zoom call. It'll only take about 15 to 30 minutes. And then me and my team go to work. It takes about 5 to 7 days. And then your system is ready to rock and roll and to go. And that's basically how we pitch that to them. How does that sound? And then, we move forward. What do you think? Any of those questions, something where you're trying to get their thought on it, and then you go silent and you let them answer. So let's just, and any of these questions here that we're going to go through, we can go through it in the Q&A for those of you guys who are still on. But that's when then, we pitch them on the price. We see what they think. We stay on the call with them as long as they need to overshadow any objections that they might have. And then we are ready to rock and roll. So now I think a lot of the questions you guys are asking are going to be in our, be covered here through our offer. So I'm going to get right into this. Let me take a look real quick. Is the voice AI functionality powered by your own software you built, or is it another software provider No, we custom built everything. I mean, we're using OpenAI, so we're not using our own language model, but everything we have is custom built. Let's see here. Average cost per acquisition. So it's going to be a little bit dependent on your close rate, obviously. But if your average demo is about $60, we'll just say, and let's just say you have 10 demos, and so you put $600 into your demos. Let's say that if you're a bad closer, you only close 1 or 2 of those, then you're still profitable just on the first close. So if you can close at a low rate of 10%, you're going to be profitable. If you can close 20, 30, 40%, you're going to be really, really profitable. I don't actually do the closing, but my Filipino assistant is going to be closer to about 60%. She's really, really good though. She speaks great English. She's been with me over, 2 years. I did a lot of the closing in the beginning, but I'm just too busy now. We've gotten to a point where I don't have to get on most of the calls. It is what it is. Our team is bigger than me. Our average retention right now is about 13 months, but keep in mind our company has only existed for about 3 years. Are you looking for closers? Maybe. I don't. You know what? Our brand is starting to get big enough to where a lot of people are signing up now. At this point, we did what I'm teaching for so long that now word of mouth has grown enough that people are signing up and then messaging us through chat saying, can I buy the done for you thing? So it's our closing has gotten so easy now that it's getting to the point where people are signing up and messaging us through chat saying, hey, I was told if I just do this. So yeah, let's get into the offer here. I just want to do a quick summary as to what we learned. The reason that SaaS AI resellers are failing is because they are selling complexity. They are selling the hole and not the drill. And that's the same thing people are doing right now today. History has repeated itself. So we're selling the end result. We're offering to make people's phones ring with qualified people by using our powerful and simple system of AI follow-up live transfer. We niche down to the pain points and not the industry, which improves our results, drops our cost per lead, our cost per appointment, cost per sale, and then we have more agility to pivot. We also have a genuine conversation with people. So our conversational framework, we went through how all of that works, how we start off with a nice little upfront sentence, getting them reminded of their pain, and then we help them to see that the path that they were on was terrible and that they need to reroute, use our solution to get to the end result. We have a couple different pricing tiers, but the one that we focus on is a setup fee plus a monthly. I don't care if that setup fee is $1,500, $5,000, or $10,000. I just prefer that you don't go lower than $1,500. That is a minimum. And I say that because you want to be able to be profitable on your ads so that way you can keep running ads. So, guys, I have a quick question before I get into the offer, because I know there was a lot of doubts in the beginning, people thinking that this was just going to be a crappy webinar where we just pitch, how did I do? Let me know, because I can change this up. Awesome. So you guys liked it. So you guys, just so we can all be clear here, do you guys clearly know what the system does that I'm selling. I just want to make sure that on all these points, okay, yes, awesome. So do you guys clearly know which pain points that I am targeting? Perfect. And you guys know exactly how I'm pitching it. You mentioned 2 pain points. Yeah. And those are the 2 that I'm focused on. Those are the 2 pain points that I am focused on. It doesn't mean that they're the only ones that exist. They're the ones that are getting me the lowest cost conversions in my ads. Okay, great. So we made a deal, and I'm going to show you. Obviously, there's only so much I could teach in an hour. We actually went a little bit over an hour. But if you guys would like to go a little bit deeper and further into growing an AI agency and work in the capacity where I actually have an obligation to your end results, would you guys like to? I already see yeses. So I'm going to make you guys an offer. We have a program called AI Agency. It's a 6-week live training where we implement systems to acquire AI customers at your demand with a rinse and repeat method. Now, I don't care what tools you use. I have a lot of cool tools that I'm going to be giving you guys here in just a minute that you guys can see. You can use your Go High Level. You can use any tools that you already have. This program is focused on sales and acquiring customers forward. Just so you guys know, the program costs $9.91. I'll get that out of the way. I know a lot of people, they don't want to share pricing until they've done their long freaking value stacks. I'm going to get it out of the way right away so you guys can see. Program costs $9.91 and you can get it at AIAgencyOffer.com. So in this program, what we do is we go deeper and further into your offer, your fulfillment, your pricing, actually acquiring customers. But what I do is I don't just focus on dots. I hope you connect them. So like each class is about implementation. It is live for 6 weeks. So it's each class you're going to see, here's what you're implementing. Now, you don't have to wait till the 6 weeks is up. You're going to see here in a second on my next bonus that I'm going to give you guys that you can literally get started right away and start generating demos. But I don't think I have all the trainings that you need pre-recorded to where you could binge watch them. The live classes are actually so that way we can focus on making this work for you. I hate programs because there is a no one size fits all. I hate shoving people into a member site and then just saying go. It just doesn't work that way. Like even with this training, I can go through all these slides and you guys might have questions that I didn't think of. So I want to actually help you implement them. So this is an actionable format style training. You do not need to wait till the 6 weeks is over to implement. And by the end of the class, you will not only have a clear plan of action, but you'll also have an edge on all these other agencies who are still just trying to figure it out. And you can get that at AIAgencyOffer.com. Now, we had about 44 people sign up for this program over the summer. And actually, that's how we developed this refined version of it. Because we were able to take a bunch of people and see what actually worked and started helping them sell stuff. And now, because what worked for me, I apply that to the masses, and then I say, okay, if for masses, here's some tweaks and things you polish off a program to make it better. So we sold that all year long at $11.97, and I'm going to give you access to all the replays of that, by the way. So that way you can see all that. But we're going to have our own 6-week live training, and that's at the AIAgencyOffer.com. Now, here's bonus number 1. This one I'm really, really excited about. I'm going to give you access to my personal ad launch account. So literally you can log in, connect your Facebook ad account and just a calendar link, and you just hit play. And it's going to use my targeting, my creative, and the creative is not branded. So it'll use your page, your Facebook page for the branding. And it's just going to start generating demos for you. So the screenshot that I showed you earlier, this was an example of another client using the same exact thing. And you'll be able to just start generating demos. See, we don't run ads to a funnel. We don't use lead ads. Just bought this is awesome. Ad launch, I was actually part of the beginning of the startup of it, helping Roger, plan out his launch of it. However, this is access to mine. So I've put like all my creatives and stuff. So here's what we're going to do. These are 100% tested ads. I've tested them with branding, with no branding. They work just as good. So you can literally just click in, bada bing, bada boom, launch, hit launch. and go. Now, I do recommend use the Calendly link. They get about a 30% higher conversion rate than Go High Level. We've tested this many, many, many times, and it's because they have a faster page load speed. I believe that's my theory. Otherwise, I can't tell you why, but every single time we put a Calendly link instead of a Go High Level calendar link, we just get a lower cost per lead. We do not run ads to a lead ad or a funnel. And the reason for that is because we trigger their amygdala in the ad with long copy and a video, and they are so excited to get in and figure out what it is, and they're searching for that dopamine, that if we send them to a funnel, the problem is it's too easy that we could accidentally trigger the dopamine, and now they're no longer curious or interested in our offer. So by getting them aroused in the ad and just saying, hey, if you want it, send them to a Calendly link, then they just book. They click on that link, ready to book. So you will find, now if you are so well off that you can spend more money per acquisition, then go for it and run ads to, no, we don't run ads to a lead ad or a funnel. We just run our ads directly to a Calendly link. And that is how we're getting such a good cost per lead. So we make it all about the creative, the long copy, and the video, and then send them right to it. It is, once again, just way too easy to send them into a funnel and accidentally trigger them. And I'll give you this example on that. Imagine that, remember back in the day, the word Facebook ads used to be something that would actually attract people, like right now how AI attracts people. But then eventually what happens is they get burned by Facebook ads, and then just the smell of the word Facebook ads makes them run. And that's because their amygdala is actually responsible for storing memories like PTSD does. And so if we send them into a funnel and you just accidentally say just the wrong thing in that funnel, then they're toasted. Oh, awesome. I appreciate it, Alan. Thanks. I'm excited to have you in here. So every month for the next 3 days, you're going to get new and tested proven ad targeting in your ad launch account. So what you do is it's actually going to be, this is Consolidator, which is my software. You're going to, when you log in, you're going to see a thing where you can click into it, and it'll just poop. You'll be able to plop it right in. That's at the AI agency offer. Each and every ad has been tested, the targeting included before it gets pushed in. So, I'm not just throwing out crap, like it's going to all be legit. So why would I do this? Because I intend on selling this program at a higher cost next week. I'm going to be continually raising this price. So if everyone's running the same ad for many, many months, it would become ineffective. So what I'm doing is I'm changing I'm like right now going crazy, building a ton of ads, spending a ton of money on them, and bada bing, bada boom. And then you'll be able to, let's see, seems like running everyone in your account, that'll create, exactly. That's what I'm talking about here. So what we're doing is we're going to continue, by the way, we have a cap on this program, but what we're going to be doing is putting new creative in there. And so right now I've already got, probably 3 to 4 months worth of creative that I've already been running, testing. I know it's working and it's not burnt out. And so I can keep you guys going for quite a while. Keep in mind too, just so you guys know, what do you think the actual completion rate on a program is on a course? It's very, very little. The reality is on a course, only maybe 3 to 5% of the people ever actually implement it. Isn't that kind of nuts? So if you know that, hey, I will implement this, I'm going to take this seriously, I could sell 20 people this, and probably only 5 to 8 people will ever actually run the ads, because that's just for some reason how people are. But either way, we are creating a ton of content and proving it out. When I say prove it out, like I've got to be able to say, hey, I've generated at least 50 to 100 demos with this creative on this targeting and gotten this cost per lead before I stick it in there for you guys. So once again, AIAgencyOffer.com. Even if you get in there, once it launches it in your account, you can go into Facebook ads, see all the targeting, see my settings. Even if that's all you got out of it, like every time I run Facebook ads, I do the same settings, I do the same thing, and that's why I get such a good cost. Even if that's all you got out of it, you'll be great. But you're going to be able to get the creative and all that too, so you'll be able to start pushing this right away. You guys get AI Agency for 6 weeks, that 6-week workshop, my ad launch account. Bonus number 2, I'm going to give you guys 3 months of Consolidator, and you can completely white label it. Now, the reason why you need this is because Form Live transfers, you need a system that is capable of not only integrating with Go High Level, but also it can perform outbound calls. Now, some people might think I wanted to keep it all inside of Go High Level. There is a reason that at the beginning of this presentation, I showed you that we have become the most #1 downloaded app next to Pabbly and Make. And that is because there are things we do that Go High Level doesn't do. And one of them right now is performing outbound calls, because you got to be able to perform that live transfer. So I'm going to be showing you guys a few other tools that you're going to need to acquire customers that you can only get inside of Consolidator. And not only am I giving you the skills to go get the customers, close the customers, and generate a lot of revenue, but now I'm also giving you the tools to do it for the next 3 months. And you can sign up at AIAgencyOffer.com. So you can brand it as your own. You can put your own name, all that stuff on it. Nobody will ever know it's Consolidator. So you're getting AI Agency, my ad launch, and 3 months of Consolidator. Bonus number 3 is I'm giving you 3 months of identity resolution. Now, the reason why I want to give you this is because this is a part of what we do in regards to getting such a good cost. By the way, any questions that you guys have, feel free to make sure that you put it in the Q&A, because I'll go through it in a minute. AIAgencyOffer.com is where you're going to sign up for this. But here's how the identity resolution works. You're going to take a script, put it inside your funnel, because there's a redirect page after the calendar that they're going to hit. Also, there's a funnel that I give you inside of a snapshot that you'll see in a moment, because a lot of people, they don't click on the ad, they click into the page, and then they want to click into your website. And so I've given you a funnel that has the same messaging and the same branding that you're going to put the script in. What that does is it will then reveal who the person, about 10 to 30% of them, who they are, their income, their email. It doesn't give you a phone number. We get it, but we don't pass it through because there's not a legal use case for that. And then you can actually see a screen recording of their interaction with you on your website. Now, what we do is we send this into a follow-up campaign. Check this out. Just over the last 4.5 months, we got 2,300 leads, generated $79,000 in revenue, and 816 customers by using our identity resolution. And that's because we're running a crap ton of ads to this. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you this identity resolution because I want to fill this part of the hole in your bucket. So that way, as you're running these ads to generate demos, all that bleed over and all that traffic that's spilling over into your pages, we're not just losing it. So you'll be able to get this. We typically sell this for $55 a month per domain inside our site. For up to 10,000 leads, we'll give you guys 3 months of that free. So it's $165. And then also we're going to give you access to our community. In here, you get my access to my live transfer snapshot, which usually we sell for $200. The AI agency training that we did this past summer. Low ticket selling for entrepreneurs, running reactivation campaigns, Inception Bot, how to build AI bots. Keep in mind, if you already have some of these, I'm sure there's things in there that you don't have, but this is just a bonus. But in the community, there's also a private channel. So that way you can ask us questions, you can get involved. That's where we update people on things with our live trainings, etc. So you get all on that when you get into the AIAgencyOffer.com. So bonus number 4 was the community. Many programs, they're beefed up on the front end, and then once you get in, you're tossed into a member site. You don't have much help. This program's different. You're going to be able to ask me and my team questions. I like to say my team becomes your team. Like, there's literally times you're like, hey, I've been on 4 demos. I couldn't close any of them. And I'll hop on the demo with you. Tell me. I'll hop on with you. I'll try to help you close one. It doesn't mean I'll be able to close every single, I'll be able to keep doing that or close them all the time, but we want to actually have a hand in your success. We're trying to become your biggest fan and support you. And we even will help you with your first bot when a customer closes. Like, if you're nervous and you're like, I don't want to screw this up, my assistant will literally hop on and onboard your customer for you, so in front of you, to teach you how to do it. So that way you just feel like this is all professional and you don't feel like you're fumbling in front of a new customer. Like, that's how deep we want to go with you guys on this. And so once again, AIAgencyOffer.com. What we've done is we've moved our whole community into the new collab from Go High Level, and we've put it into a custom menu link here. So that way you're not trying to log into a ton of different places. And then we have a private channel just for the students. So you get access to the live transfer snapshot, our reactivation campaigns, which all use AI access. So it's a value. I'm not trying to do these pie in the sky numbers where people are like, this would be worth $50,000. I'm not trying to do that. We're trying to keep this legit. it's worth about $4,800. So you get it at $991 today at AIAgencyOffer.com. So reason I do this, just so you guys can make logical sense of this, the white label version of Consolidated is $297 a month. So if I give you guys 3 months of it, that's $891. 3 months of identity resolution, $165. So it's about $1,065 just in software right there. So I'm just trying to say to you guys, like, hey, if you commit to 3 months of Consolidated, I'm going to give you guys 4 times more than what you paid for. Now, if you've already got Consolidated, we pause your payments for the next 3 months. So you won't keep getting charged for it for the next 3 months, and we'll bump you up to the white labeled version of it. So the main thing you're paying for is the training, the 6-week live training. These are just bonuses that you'll get on top of it, all these other things that we have. So I'll take this a little bit further, that if you guys get into my system in its entirety, you guys haven't seen at least a 2-to-1 ROI by the end of the 3 months, given that you actually launched ads and followed it, I'll give you guys another 3 months free. So that way I'm doubling what your investment is. No, what I'm saying is, for 3 months, yes. It would be, the monthly cost is $297 a month. Afterwards, and by the way, you guys will continue to get access. Yeah, it's all white label capable. You guys will continue to get access to our ad launch account for the $297 a month, as long as you just stay on it. So we're not giving all white label people, by the way, access to ad launch. It's only the people who join this program. But if you join the program, you get access to our ad launch, and it'll stay in your account, and you'll be getting updated creative as long as you keep paying the $297 a month. I want to go back here real quick because I think we're getting into the Q&A portion of this. Let's just go through here. Phil says, I have to ask this, and this isn't asked in bad faith. Oh, dude, you can ask anything. Let me turn on my camera too, because I like people to see facial expressions that you can literally ask anything. If I'm asking someone to give me money, they have the right to ask me anything they want. But why teach this instead of continuing to scale the offer yourself? Great question. You know what my end goal is? Why do you think I'm even doing this webinar in the first place? What do you think my big end goal is? It's the same reason why it's because I want to grow Consolidated. So I'll tell you an interesting story. In 2021, I was running ads. There's a company, if you look them up, they're called Carbon 6. And they buy up Amazon softwares and they resell them. The owners are complete douchebags. But one of the old founders of it, he was a friend of mine, and he had me come in to run ads for them. So I was running their ads. I think at the time they only had 6 different softwares, and we were trying to do reporting for them, and it was kind of a nightmare getting on Thursday accurate data. That's how Consolidated started, because we do a lot more than just AI bots. I can walk you through the platform here in a second, but we do a lot more than that in the beginning. We started Consolidated. My goal is within 3 to 5 years, just grow Consolidated as fast as possible and sell it. That is my goal, to take a SaaS exit, as Ben said. So to me, selling these AI bots was great. I wanted to do it because there's a lot of people. I wanted to reverse it. So like right now, you look at these chatbot companies, and I'll just throw one of them out there, ZappyChat. And they tried to okay, how can we get people on our program? We're going to teach them how to sell chatbots to customers. So he went live and tried to do it himself and build his own, and it flopped. Could not get end user companies. He only knew how to sell to marketers. I wanted to reverse that. I actually wanted to do it first. No problem. Thank you for being here in the first place, for hopping off. I wanted to be here, do it the other way. I wanted to prove I can do it and then go teach other people how to do it. And so that's why we're doing it in the first place. My goal was never to be a guy who sells a ton of end user bots. I want to be, because for me, as our MRR continues to grow and get sticky and keep working and working and working, our company evaluation gets higher and higher and higher. Fun fact is that I didn't even take pay from Consolidated until a month ago, because I've been putting all of it back into ads and developers. And we're getting big. We're getting close to not go high level big, but we're getting pretty good, getting close to about 1,500 agencies, which they all have their own customers as well. So it's growing and it's doing pretty good, in my opinion. But that's just the reality of it. So that's why even when I say, I sold 900 AI bots like the company did, I don't think I'm Daddy Warbucks over here. we've got a huge team of developers that are freaking expensive. And I'm not raising capital because we don't need to. We're doing very well when it comes to cash flow and growing a company. But I sold an agency and a software company in 2020. I haven't had to touch the principal of that. I've put that into my own investments where I can live off just, a 4 to 5% a year off of that. And so because of that, I'm growing another company and I don't want to take a salary from it. But when you ask why would I do that instead, it's because my goal is to build the evaluation of this company, and getting hits of, $1,500, $3,000, $5,000 here and there. It's good for just initial cash flow. So it's been awesome for that sake, but it's also not building my MRR, which is where the majority of my growth comes from. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to be transparent with you guys on this. Is Simple Talk considered a competitor? I actually use Simple Talk, so no. Simple Talk does, I use Simple Texting actually. 2 questions. Can I get the replay and also GHL snapshot at 50? Where can I get it? Just send me a message, Ben, on Facebook. Just look me up, Ross Christopher, on Facebook, and I'll get you like a pay link or something on Stripe. But otherwise, if you do decide to get into the program, that snapshot's included. So don't buy it if you're planning on getting in anyways. So total cost for 3 months is, yep, exactly, $297 a month. If you want to keep the identity resolution going, you have to add $55 a month to that. Let me show you guys the platform. If you guys actually want to see, you've seen screenshots of it, but let me actually show you guys the actual platform, how it looks. Now, I'll also be transparent on this, that even though we integrate so well with Go High Level, and I would say like 80% of our users are Go High Level, we are trying to, as time goes, become our own thing. We're not a plugin. We don't want people to think of us as a tool that it only works with Go High Level. We actually have our own CRM coming into our platform over time, which I can show you at some point here. But our tool is, our AI stuff is over here. So the text stuff is real easy. So to build a text bot, I'll actually go into one of these where one's built. This is our demo account. But all you essentially do is you go in and you fill in these questions here, and then you have a conversational flow. So these are objectives, and then it'll pull in your custom fields here. And as it answers the questions, it'll fill in those custom fields for you. You hit save, and then all you have to do is go into the configuration tool, and you can tie it to a sub account. So you say, hey, here's the sub account in Go High Level. Here's the calendar that I want to tie this to. And, it has human takeover and all that. As far as setting it up in Go High Level, it's literally a 1-step workflow. So like you literally have customer replied, webhook. That's it. You paste this in the webhook and you're done. Oh, well, we need Go High Level account to get the best ROI on this program. I think so, because right now we don't have but you don't have to be on like a 497 version. You can be on the middle tier where you have sub accounts, but you can't white label it. That's all you need. You don't need to be on like the really expensive $500 one. Over time, you won't need that because we do have our own. This isn't actually in anyone else's account, but we do have our own conversations. It might only actually be on this consolidated one. Yeah, we have our own conversations platform coming with our own chat widget and stuff like that, but that's not for everyone else to see. In your platform, you also get access to this lead finder. In the lead finder, you can go do a keyword search and you can pull up, companies, and you can go in and see, revenues and who they are and this and that. So this is all unlimited for you guys as well once you're in there, which I didn't even feature inside of our presentation. We have in here, you can integrate it directly with your Go High Level account, so you can actually replace dashboards. We started off as a dashboard company. So like, I'll give you an example. Here's a campaign that I just started yesterday for someone, and that I'm running ads for. So I build dashboards for everyone, but these can live inside of the custom menu links inside your Go High Level account. So if you want to create good reporting for people, you can do that. We also have our business ranking tools. Business ranking tools allow you to be able to see, your Google My Business, how you're ranking on keywords and stuff like that. What was the problem again that you mentioned? Zappy Chat guy. He was just trying to sell to end user businesses, and I was following it, and he wasn't getting customers. In my opinion, and I'm not trying to talk bad about people, their tool is very complicated to set up. I like to try to keep it simple. So we have this stuff here. We also have in here the visitor tracking that I mentioned earlier. This is really powerful because if I click on this, keep in mind, we sell worldwide. It only picks up visitors in the US. So my stats are going to be a little lower over here than people who are, when I'm on Zoom, boy, everything just moves so much slower. But let me pull this up just to give you guys an example. You can see, I can see who the person is, their email. I can get additional info on this person, and then I can actually see what they were looking at on my website. And so this is a really, really powerful tool. Like you can sell this to customers for like $500 a month, if not more, and it only costs you $55 a month. So there's a lot of neat tools inside of this. We also have duration tracking, which allows you to use webhooks to start and stop the clock. So you could say like, hey, when a lead comes in, yeah, all of this is included. The only thing with the maps is they do require some credits, but it's like $100 for 55,000 credits. So like that'll last you like a year. So it's not expensive to utilize the credits on that. On this, you could have like, let's say when a lead comes in, I start the clock. And when they become an appointment, I stop it. And then you could start timing, saying the average duration is, when this, this is how long it takes for this to occur. So we have a lot of cool tools that are inside of here. Let's see. Still a little confused. If we purchase the $991, you will teach us to launch the AI agency from scratch, guide us through the sales process, launching AI. I have all of that. Every inch of that is covered. And even to the point where if you can't close them and you're struggling, I can't promise I'm going to close them, but I'll get on and it'll show you my process and do it. Because sometimes people, you can read how to swim, but until you jump in the water. Trading starts Tuesday. It's going to be at 1:00 this Tuesday. Are we using? I'm going to, you can use my bots if you would like, because we've got all the snapshots and everything all set up. If you don't want to use our bots, though, you can use your Go High Level, but it would just be up to you to like figure out like the nuances of changing them over. Our snapshots are in Go High Level, but that's just because we integrate so well with Go High Level. So you basically, it's like a business in a box. Let me take a look here real quick because I got a message coming through. Okay. Let's see here. Would it be best to set up our client on Go High Level? I don't recommend you set up your client on anything. I recommend you do you guys remember Alex Hormozi used to have the Allen? Anybody remember that? I recommend that your client, if you wanted to send them into Go High Level, you could. I recommend you take everything away other than a dashboard. Just a dashboard. That's all they need to see. If you want to retain customers, you just give them a dashboard and you just say, hey, when your leads come in, I'm sending them here. Now you could use the Go High Level, just give them like access to conversations and a custom menu link with a dashboard. I would take everything else away because we're not trying to change their behaviors. We don't want them to go. We just want them to, there is a need for conversations, but I just love the idea of like, all I have to do is give you money and send my leads to you. That's what I want them to have. Let's see here. Would it be best to set up our client on a white label? Just think, yeah, you can do any of that. Just think of Consolidated as really right now, it's a back-end tool powering that stuff. Pricing you showed earlier, $97 a month plus setup fee. Is that what we charge? That's what I recommend because your usage is going to be great. So you're going to make $350 to $500 a month just in usage if they're using it at least 2 hours per day. And I should say that's what you're going to make. That's what you're going to generate in revenue. Typically, you profit about 5 cents per minute. Let's see here. What are some good ways to set up a dashboard? I show you all that. It's so easy. Our dashboarding tool is so easy to use. Like that's one of our live classes is just making sure we have all that set up. See, people we sell to should already have their own lead gen funnels in place. Yeah, they don't need to have funnels. Most people aren't really doing a lot of funnels anymore. Funnels have kind of been getting, like lead ads have done so much for the industry that now a lot of people are just running lead ads, messenger ads. In fact, I have a brick and mortar business and the best profit on usage. Yeah, of course you want to make money on usage, at least 5 cents. At least 5 cents. And by the way, I don't care I would just say don't sell less than $97 a month. If you feel comfortable at $197, $297 a month, but here's something that I personally feel. remember Jasper, how they originally came out as Jarvis and they were selling for like a ridiculous fee, and it was like $400 a month, $500, and then ChatGPT came out, boom, 10, $20, and so many people had a mass exodus on their platform. And when you build your infrastructure as a company around a certain pricing model, and then you're forced to drop that price, you're screwed. And they had to lay off a ton of people, and it takes a long time to fix it. So I like saying, hey, you know what? I'm here for the long game. I'm making my money on the front end. I'm building my MRR. I want to have something that I don't have to worry that every time something else comes out, I'm losing. I could ruin my whole infrastructure. It just lets me sleep better at night. Just thinking about the AI, especially because like AI voice bots and text bots are getting so popular in the market that now people can get to the point where they're just price shopping. Just thinking about the AI voice bot, the tracking of calls, would that be reported? Yeah, we do all that reporting right inside of Consolidator. In fact, we allow you to see all of your customers on a specific dashboard, to where you can see them all in one spot. Let's see, your AI words, SMS, yeah, SMS and voice, and all channels. It would be great to understand how much revenue we can generate per sale. So I can show you this. Let me pull up something here. And this gets, you can obviously tweak this. Why is everything incognito? Okay, so here's a little sheet that I have, and you can change this up, but this based off at your ad spend and your demos, etc., in closing. And so it just kind of shows, you know, hey, if I'm going to spend, if I can only spend $500 this month in ads, I'm probably only going to get 6 demos, maybe 1 to 2 clients out of it. I'll be able to make, you know, if your setup fee is only $1,500, say $2,800, and this MRR portion is not right, I'm still setting that up. But then, you know, you have $200 a month in just subscription plus usage, so probably about $800 in gross revenue coming off of that. And I give you guys this in the live class, like just a little rundown as to how you can set these kinds of things up. Let's see, have you tested a lifetime deal to lock them in and make money off usage? Not really. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of offering just a lifetime deal. You know, I do it when I'm first launching a software. I'm all about monthly reoccurring revenue. That's personally my model. I have tried free plus usage, which is kind of similar. It works okay. It works okay, but I can't say I make more. We make more money by charging a setup fee. Here's the other thing too, is I would say, and I say this in our first class, that I believe, oh, awesome. Thanks. See you, Dwayne. One of the things that I would say is that it's going to be heavily dependent on what your financial situation is. And the reason I say that is because if you're in a financial position where you could go a long time and not really worry about making a ton of money, then it makes sense to play the long game, you know, gain market share that way. But if my goal is how can I keep you running ads? And that's by charging good setup fees. Let's see here. How can I get more info on the revenue generation? The only way to get more info on that is in the program, because that's literally what our first class is about, is setting the proper expectations and generating revenue. Like if you can close 20 to 30% minimum, you're going to be extremely profitable on your ads. But that's literally what our first class is about, is going through and creating our forecasts of our models and, you know, having KPIs and goals that we're trying to hit. Will you be sending us a replay? Yes, I will be. Yes, what is the question? Do you have any recordings of demos in the program we can get familiar with on how to do a successful demo, or how a successful demo should go? I don't record our demos because that would require my customer being okay with it. So I don't do that and share them in the program. But like I said, if you're struggling with getting on a demo, after you do 2 or 3, and then I'll hop on and help you with one. One other thing that I found is that you got to try to develop your style that works good for you. And if you're just trying to copy 100% my style, your close rate will drop. So I'm going to get on and I'll do one, but then I'll still want you to try to develop your own style. But I'm happy to hop on one with you. It's no problem. Awesome. See you, Christine. Excited to see you guys there as well. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys hopping on the training. Let's see. Once the AI agent set up for your customer, how much monthly hardly anything. Just making sure that they keep their stuff topped up. Just making sure that OpenAI doesn't go down or something like that. But there's hardly any issues that way. Yeah, it'll be pretty straightforward. Yeah, I mean, there's literally no other program out there right now where someone has as much experience as I do in selling these to end users that will actually hold your hand and give you as much attention as what we will. Everyone else is out there teaching theory. You got a lot of people out there who are literally selling stuff from, they sit there and they make a workflow and then they're like, oh, this looks cool. This workflow looks neat. I'll sell this. And they test it a little bit. And then, it's like everything we've done is actually tested and actually working right now. Let's see here. OpenAI fee included? No, we can't charge it. We can't include that, but we let you use your own. So we're not upcharging anything. You just add your own OpenAI key in. So what about Stylist Bar? They usually don't have a person to transfer calls to. They usually use booking sites. So once again, I wouldn't go down to an industry. I would go down to a pain point. So if that's the case, they might not be the right fit for it. Because they, unless they're okay getting a missed call text back. But, if you get somebody who's a stylist who's responding to those pain points, then just say, hey, then we'll just book the appointment for you. But just set the proper expectation. Because like in that ad, it does say you can either live transfer or do a booking. So I'm not going to lose a customer from it. I'm going to go for what I think works. But I'm not going to, if someone else is just going to sell them appointments, there's no reason why I shouldn't be taking some of that money anyways. Do you personally do some of the training? I do all of it. I do all of the coaching and the training, at least at this point. There is some, I'm talking to 2 people that are really, really good at ads and people that I've learned from that I might be bringing some of them in on some of the trainings. But right now I do all of the training. 6 weeks live class. Do you have a class schedule? Yeah, it's every Tuesday at 1:00. And if you can't show up, there's recordings. No call, no shows, can't hire you. Yeah, sweet. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. About how long to start driving sales after we get started? 30 days. Yeah, I mean, the second you get your ads on, within 2 to 3 days, you see demos coming in, and then it's just a matter of closing deals. It's just, it's pretty straightforward there. Let me just read this real quick. Let's see, any other questions? By the way, just so you guys know, I just want to tell you something. The 6-week class that I put, that 6 weeks is an arbitrary number, meaning I like to know how long I have to fulfill. Meaning I don't want to have to worry if I end this in 3 months, are people going to be pissed? I only put 6 weeks on there because I need to know that, hey, if I decide to pivot, how much do I need to fulfill before I can actually, say that I've done my end of the deal. I have zero intentions of ending this in 6 weeks. And so you guys are going to be welcome. It's not like you get booted after 6 weeks. You get to stay in the community and you can show up to trainings and things such as that. So I'm not opposed to you guys staying into it. I'm launching a beta program for a new offer. Any ideas on a new direction to take it? I am going to try and keep it simple. What is the new offer? By the way, speaking of new offer, I'll tell you guys something else. Is that something that's coming into this is that I'm doing a test on selling AI bots. And the test is I want to see if I can sell to end users through a webinar, not agency owners. I've done a lot of one-to-one demos with end user businesses. But I've not done a webinar to end user businesses selling AI bots. So I'm building out an entire slide deck, everything around it. And once I nail it and dial it in, everyone who's in these programs, I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to just give them the update of it and get them to, it's same thing inside the ad launch. Like you'll get my ads and my stuff, because here's what my goal is if you can even get just 5, 10, 20 users monthly paying bots from you, my selfish thing is then you're stuck with me. Like you got to keep using me on Consolidated because you got your customers all using it. So that's my goal. See, basically a website, online presence tool to unify the channels and get appointments, perhaps live transfer. I appreciate it some. To be honest with you, the thing that you just, and I'm not trying to be rude, but the thing that you just said feels like a commodity, like something that would have been really hot 5 years ago. But you just kind of described a CRM with a chat tool that happens to have, it feels like go high level. It's going to be a very, very tough sell to try to stand out because that is now a commodity. That's why I like going after direct pain points. And you could say I am going after direct pain points. I like going after direct pain points that other people are not solving well. How long is each demo call to convert, folks? So I put my calendar at 15 minutes and then I put a 15-minute buffer, because if I can tell they're not qualified, I don't want to spend 30 minutes with them. I want to be able to say I got another call coming up. Conversion rates are seeing from these demos. Yeah, it's about, depending on the closer, anywhere between 30 and 60% of the people who they get on with. I guess I can expand this into selling other. Oh, of course, this is just your upfront, thing. And with a last name like Altman, people might trust you a little bit more. Actually, maybe they might not actually, now that I think about it. Let's see here. I'm going to have some calls with the people who signed up for the beta to try and get their pain points before building something for them. So let me just share something with you on that. I'm not a big fan of that. And the reason I say that is if you do that, I mean, it's okay to some degree, but if you ask people, hey, what are you struggling with? And then you try to turn around and try to sell them something. In my opinion, they're like, well, if you don't know what I'm struggling with, then I don't think you have the right solution for me. I am a big fan of taking people down a path that you've already gone down, and then their pain points. Like I had to do zero research for this webinar because I know the pain points that every one of you are facing. Now, if you don't know the pain points of end user businesses, then copy mine. Because I do. I've been down all of their paths and I've been able to solve those problems. And I'm okay with you copying mine because I have stuff to help you do that. Yeah, no problem. I'm not trying to be rude either. I just don't like, I'm upfront with people because I don't want to just be nice just to be nice. Now I just realized there's a whole Q&A box here that I haven't answered, that I didn't even look at. Let's go through these real quick. How to sell AI to local business. Oh, okay, that's what we were doing. Let's see here. I have access to Consolidated white label partner. Will I be able to use this information from this training? Yeah, he can use that. It's not going to be exactly the same because he can't white label it himself. We'll need to have the 397. Nope, you don't need to have the 397. Is this being recorded? Yes, it is. I didn't realize it was, but it was. Can you go back to the demo set, please, so you can show again? I'm going to be emailing out the replay. You briefly touched on this earlier. What characteristics do you want to be true of a business for them to be good fit for this offer? Revenue, employee account, etc. I want them to, I don't care about revenue. As long as they're generating leads and can afford, my system to pay it up front. But what I'm more interested in is that they have the right mindset to being able to, as I'm going to be sending them live transfers. Why would you need access to their socials? Because if they're running Facebook Messenger ads, then you're going to want to convert those Messenger ads into phone calls. Are you building using Consolidated? Yes, I am. How do you target the problem in Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads? This is different mindset, not including lead gen in the offer. Target a problem in Facebook. Oh, it's through the copy and the messaging. Through the copy and the messaging there. Yeah, the product link here is aiagencyoffer.com. So I just dropped it in the chat here. So that way you guys can see that. I'll put it up here as well. How might this work for realtors? Realtors will love it. I think I actually gave a specific example on that though. So I'm going to mark that as answered. Is this promise that you have the flows sorted out and I should be able to generate sales? I'm not going to promise that you can actually generate sales in under 30 days because much of that is going to be dependent on how good you are at closing. But I can guarantee that you're going to be getting on demos well before 30 days is up as long as you start running ads. As long as you plug in your thing to my ad launch account, you will get demos. Let's see. Can I get a replay? Yes, I'll get you a replay. I'm guessing we get your ad launch for 3 months too. Yeah, you get access to it, but as long as you stay on Go High Level after the 3 months, you continue to get access to that. Oh, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Hopefully we get to see you in the live training. Do you need Go High Level or do we run everything inside of Consolidated? You're going to want Go High Level for the workflows. I also want the snapshot because I just paid for another program. Okay. Well, I'd love to know what program that you got into just to figure out who else is out there. What ad spend do you recommend per day? I'll go through that in just 2 seconds here. I just want to go through these things. Do they need their own API chat for chat? They can just have a sub account API. They don't need an agency API. That's pretty straightforward. Aside from paid ads, how do you recommend getting clients? I actually have in there something called the B2B machine where you literally feed cold leads into it and it generates demos for you, but they are not as warm as ads. So let's see here. Let me just look at what the friends are saying. Okay. It says here, what is your ad spend? So if you know you're going to get $50 to $60 per demo at some point, I would say start off for the first 3 days at $100 a day and then taper it back down to, maybe $60 a day because it's going to get better as time goes because once Facebook starts learning who's converting, it just starts getting better and better and better and better. So I would say start off there. The first class that we do on Tuesday is literally about that. Is about your ad spend, making sure you can afford it, making sure it's setting up a plan to where you're going to be able to keep them on and not feel like you're panicked, how much to keep reinvesting back into ads, how to grow, your ad budget, because that's ideally what you want to do is grow your ad budget over time. So that way you can get more and more demos. Let's see. You might want to check the mobile version of your funnel for this offer, the headline and stuff. Okay. I'm terrible at, what do you call it? Those little details. So maybe I need someone like you in my life. What happens is this is only the second week that I've done this. By like the third and fourth week, I have things dialed in. So I appreciate it. I finally got my front landing page converting at around $3 per lead. I had some that were up as high as $7, $8 per webinar registration, but I'll continue to dial these in. So I appreciate that. I never claim to be a perfectionist. My claim is that I will make something work and get sales off of it. Let's see. What other questions do we have in here? Do you have to purchase Go High Level also to make this work? No. And the reason I say no is you do have to have Go High Level, but if you don't have Go High Level, you could technically run a lot of it out of like the voice bots and stuff like that. And then I can give you access to a sub account if you need a sub account to be able to make the workflows and the live transfer workflows. Yeah. But I would recommend having a Go High Level account because it's just going to be easier for you and less asking people for stuff. You don't need the high end version of it. You can get away with, I think it's like $197 or something. As long as you have like the unlimited sub accounts, that would be ideal. What I would say is that if you don't have Go High Level yet and you're trying to keep your expenses low, I can get you a free sub account to ours so that way you can at least get one going. And then once you close a client and you start making money, go buy a Go High Level account. By like spring of next year, you won't even need one. I'll show you something really cool that's coming. This is really neat. So I have this theory that Go High Level, someone touched on this earlier. Go High Level was designed for agency owners and it's trying to be sold to end users. So we're building our CRM for end users, and then we're going to put it in the hands of agency owners. And to give you an example of that, let's say that you wanted to set up a workflow. This is a mock-up of what that CRM is going to kind of look like. Let's say that you wanted to say, okay, when a lead comes in, I want a workflow to happen. Instead of having to go to workflows, you press this gear wheel and it's going to pull up your automation right there. You set up the automations for that page. And now, they don't have to sit there and try to think like, oh, if this comes in, then this happens and this happens. Or how about when a customer replies, boom, right here. I have to send a message out to my group. I have a ministry group that our worship is meeting tonight on Zoom because it's so foggy. Okay. Let's see, one last question. How do we get leads from our customers to Consolidata? It's all done through the Go High Level webhooks. All done through the Go High Level webhooks. Yeah, I really want to help you guys. And, I'm invested in this, as far as I'll stay on trainings, I'll get on calls, do whatever we got to do to make sure that you guys don't feel left in the dark. So my team becomes your team. Like if you're struggling to, get something set up, our team gets on the call and helps you. I'm looking forward to working with you as well, Ben. Any other questions? See anything that keeps you guys from, let's see, how long is this offer at this price going to be available? So here's what I do. Cause, I know a lot of people just put an arbitrary thing and say Sunday, midnight. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say midnight, but I turned off my webinar ads. I'm doing another webinar next Thursday. Price will be higher on that webinar on Thursday. Those ads will start sometime Sunday night, maybe Monday morning. And so when I start those new ads, I take away the replay because I don't want anyone still signing up on that pricing after that time frame because I like it to be uniformed. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is I don't want you to think, oh, he's just doing the brunch and ends Sunday at midnight. It's because we start promoting Sunday night, Monday morning to get our webinar promoted till Thursday. And so that's when we'll end up turning it off. And so it'll be sometime Sunday evening. I don't want to say midnight because I have 2 children and a wife that's pregnant, and I don't have, it's a lot of times what'll end up happening is I'll go put my kids to bed and I fall asleep right in the bed with them. So I'll be changing it over before I get them to sleep, which will probably be about 10:30, 11 o'clock Central. Let's see. I have a class on Tuesdays at 1, but I know you will be recording. When will I be able to get these questions answered? Let's see. What question? Here's what you could do if you wanted to. So after you watch the first recording, we have another class that is at 11, but it's a week behind because it started this past Tuesday at 11. So as long as you catch up and watch that other class, you're welcome to join our 11 o'clock class if it's easier for you. So once you watch the replay of it, you could ask questions, I'll answer them, and then you can jump into our 11 o'clock class that I'm doing. I'm breaking them up that way, though, because I don't want these classes getting big. I want them, 10, 15 people intimate. Can you recap your ROI guarantee? Yeah, my guarantee is this, that if you launch this system with all the software and you haven't seen at least a 2-to-1 ROI, I'm going to extend the software for another 3 months. And the reason I say that is because the cost of what you're paying mainly just covers the cost of software. Like I'm pretty much, even though I'm selling you a training, it's almost like you go to a car dealer and they say, oh, I gave you an extra $300 for your trade-in, but they added $300 to your new car. I'm just being transparent with you guys that the idea here is that that's where it's coming from. We're looking at how can we get people on Consolidata, help them get success, help them get results with it so that way they stick. It doesn't do me any good. If you don't make money with this, you're going to cancel Consolidata. That's just the reality of it. So it doesn't do me any good to sign people up and then them not actually get a return or make money on it because it's just going to be 3 months later and they're going to churn, which that actually looks terrible for evaluation when it comes to a software company. Let's see this. Oh yeah. This is for someone who feels like their agency's starting to fizzle. They value learning from others to speed things up. They don't want to chase shiny objects. They see the value in AI tools, but they've not figured out how to capitalize on them just yet. The payment upfront is for 3 months, and then it just goes to the $297 a month. And then if you want to keep the identity resolution on, then it's just the $55. Okay, cool. Well, just signed up. Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to having you on. This is going to be great. Well, for those of you, because it looks like there is, let me figure out. It's the webinar has been over now for at least 45 minutes, and we still have a good chunk. I appreciate you guys. Still have a good chunk. What is the link? It is aiagencyoffer.com. I appreciate those of you guys who have stayed on to see this. And I promise you that when you get in, if you enjoyed today, when you get into the training, it's even better. It's better than what you did today. This is a sample of what it's like to work with us. It's me, Sherry. We have my father's my partner in our company. We have Assad, Chavez, Ali. You'll get to work with all of us. You're going to meet the whole team, because what'll happen is you'll say, hey, I need some help figuring out something on a prompt, and I'll put you in with Chavez. Hey, I want to be able to get it to add a tag when someone says this, and you'll work with so-and-so, and we'll help you set it up. So the thing is it's almost like getting into a community where now you have this team at your back, where as you're trying to solve problems, you feel like we're the first place you turn to. Hey, I have this customer that, if it's a used car, they want to make sure that this used car tag gets added. Can you help me set that up? Boom, we have a team to be able to help you do that. So I'm excited to be able to offer this to people and to keep growing our team alongside with it. Let's see. Anything you can share about optimizing the prompt? It's all in the training. So like we have all sorts of training on that. I have a thing in there called Bulletproof Bots. And it walks you through it all. Can you recap your ROI guarantee? Yeah, it's basically I extend the software for another 3 months. So that way, at minimum, if you would have bought if you were to sign up today for Consolidata over the next 3 months, you would have paid roughly about, just under, but actually just over if you use the identity resolution, $1,000. So I'm saying, hey, if you don't see the big result after, then I'm going to double the amount of time that you get it. Oh, are you talking about a good name for your brand? Let's see. I had to leave part of your. Is there going to be a replay? Yes, there will be a replay. Oh, for the white label. So I love names. I'll show you my spiel on names. I like names that sound legacy. And when I say legacy, like for instance, the other name was Lead Carrot. It was very clear. Like you could see it just sounded cool. Lead Carrot. That was my software company that I sold. Consolidata. It's like you kind of know what it does. It's consolidating a bunch of data into those dashboards. That's how it started off. There's another brand that we came up with, Talk to Me. Sounds kind of legacy. We have one, Night Owl. So I can help you. We can spitball ideas. So if you're hopping in the program, feel free to shoot me a message and maybe we can hop on a phone call or something. I extend that to any of you. I don't mind hopping on a phone call for, 15, 20 minutes or something after the first. And, we can help you, just spitball ideas. It's kind of like I don't have a lot of capacity to have a ton of new friends in the world, but the people who are investing in supporting my companies, I'm going to make the time to become friends with people and to help them and grow them and to get to know them. So, I look forward to meeting you guys, and hopefully it doesn't feel like once you sign up for the program, then you're just leaving. I hope people come into the circle, they become a part of it. They feel like they can rely on me. I mean, a lot of the people who were even on our webinar and our training last week, it's like, these are people that have been supporting me since 2017, and I would do anything for them. Like, if someone's struggling. So hopefully by doing webinars again, getting people in and just bringing more people into the fold that I can help and support and pull back and help. Let's see here. Okay, good guys. Well, I appreciate you all. I'll send out the replay in a little bit. I got to go get some dinner with the fam and get ready because now we have our Zoom worship because it is so foggy outside. It's been awesome spending time with you guys. Once again, for those of you guys that are wanting to get in, it's at HTTPS or just whatever, AIagencyoffer.com. I'm going to put that in there. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the training. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the flip side. See ya. By the way, Lonnie, just so you know, on our checkout page, there is something on there where, and I'm not trying to, if you're on disability, to be honest with you, I appreciate you being on here. We have a lot of free content on YouTube. It might not be the right thing for you anyways, because I want you to be able to run ads, and that might be outside of your budget. So don't sign up if ads, spend and save $400 or $500 a month on ads is outside of the budget. And I say that just as so that way you would be successful in the program. But there is something on our checkout page where you can use Affirm or Afterpay, etc. This is for anyone else listening, and they have options where you can be 0% for 12 months. So, anyways, appreciate you. I don't know if they have PayPal credit. I can't use PayPal because about 2 years ago, someone sent me $25,000 on PayPal and they shut me down right away. And I had to refund them the money and have them wire it to me. So PayPal is toast for me. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. See you.